Hey guys, what is up? It's Lobomon for Game, and today we got a new matchup between Gabumon Bond of Friendship Hybrid versus Machinedramon Veemon. So I'm gonna go ahead and start things off. I'm gonna Digivolve my BT6 Gabumon in my Raising, then drop the Davis to put him at 4. I will add the Kumamon to my hand. Then Game's actually gonna go ahead and Digivolve in his Raising with a Veemon, which is pretty interesting. It's actually really nice to see something different. Then he's gonna go ahead and drop the Megadramon. Gonna go ahead and put me to 3. I'm gonna promote and swing in my Gabumon. Gonna draw with Upamon. I do swing into the Hagurumon, so it's going to die. Then in my hand not being that great, I'm gonna promote my Davis into the Kumamon, then gonna go into Korikakumon to stun the Megadramon. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go into my Beowulfmon, putting him at 1. Then he's gonna go ahead and promote his Veemon. He's gonna draw with jamming, and he does swing into the Korikakumon. I forgot that Veemon did have jamming at the time, so I thought it was going to die. And now he's gonna pass me 2 by Digivolving into the Machinedramon. I do Digivolve in my Raising with the Gabumon EX01. Then, looking at my hand, I don't know if I wanted to go ahead and rush at the time or start spamming my mats on the board, but I wanted to go ahead and control tempo, so what I will do is play the Spark, put myself to 3. Then, just to make sure that if I don't have any other plays, I'm gonna go ahead and play the Absolute Blast, trashing the Machinedramon's only source to bottom deck it. He's gonna go ahead and start off with 3. He still has the jamming Veemon, which is pretty annoying, but it's fine because that's basically its job. He does swing into a mat, which is good on my end. I'm gonna be gaining an additional memory plus an extra draw on my turn, so that's really good. He does drop the Megadramon, puts me at 3. Then I'm gonna go ahead and promote my Gabumon. I'm gonna gain 1, draw 1. So thinking about my next move, I'm actually gonna go ahead and swing with my Beowulfmon into security. However, I was debating if I wanted to go ahead and bounce the Veemon back to hand, because if I do, he's going to be able to cycle back in his Racing. So I chose not to, and I do swing into a Zwart defeat, which is okay with me. I'm going to go ahead and trade off the Gabumon with the Veemon so I can go ahead and clear that off the way. That way he's going to have a hard time cycling through his deck, so he won't be able to Digivolve in his Racing. I do drop double Mat, putting him at 2. Now he's going to go ahead and swing with Zwart defeat into my Beowulfmon, then puts me at 1 by Digivolving the Machinedramon over his Megadramon. Now I do have the EX01 Gabumon again. Then I decided to play the 4th mat, which is actually pretty nuts just because I'm able to get 4 memory plus 4 draws next turn. Now he has the Veemon in his Raising again, and that's a threat. He does have the Machinedramon, and he still has Zwart defeat on the board. And now his setup is starting to look overwhelming for me because I'm not too sure if I was able to survive next turn. So he's going to swing with Zwart defeat, and it does hit into a Hammer Spark, so I'm actually going to put him to 0. Then he Digivolves into the Chaosdramon, putting myself to 1, I'm sorry. Then I'm going to go ahead and promote my Gabumon. Going to be able to go ahead and gain 4 additional cards with 4 memory. However, I didn't catch this, or neither of us caught this during the match. So he passed me 1. I was supposed to be at 5 because I gained an additional 4. But we miscalculated, so I'm stuck at 4 right now and I didn't catch that, so my apologies. I'm going to go ahead and play the Tommy, trashing all the sources from Chaosdramon. Gonna go ahead and put myself to 1. Gabumon's gonna go ahead and swing so I can draw off with Upamon. And now the goal for this turn is to try and stun one of his Digimons, but unfortunately I didn't have enough memory to work with and I only had the Kumamon in my hand. So what I'm actually gonna do is Digivolve my Tommy into the Kumamon, choking him to 1, and then I'm just gonna have to hope and pray that something saves me in security. So he's gonna swing with his Veemon and actually hits into a Hammer Spark, putting me back to 1. So now it's my turn again. And I'm able to make some plays over here. I'm going to Digivolve my Gabumon in my Raising. Then I do have Kumamon. I needed to control tempo. So what I'm actually going to do is start swinging with my Kumamon into his Veemon, being able to stun the Chaosdramon actually too. So that's a 2 for 1. Trying to make sure that I actually survive next turn so I can just try and push for game. So looking through my hand, it looks pretty good with all those cards in my hand, but it's actually a little bit misleading because I had to think about what the next card I wanted to play with only 1 memory to work with. So I'm actually going to Digivolve one of my mats into another Kumamon, just trying to go wide. And because he only has 1 memory to work with, there's nothing much he can really do. He will swing with Zwart defeat, and then I'm at 0 security. I'm pretty much open for kill. However, he's going to go ahead and pass me to 1 by playing Analog Youth. He's going to top 3 check, being able to add the Machinedramon. I'm going to promote my Gabumon to gain 3 and draw 3. I'm going to go ahead and swing now with the Gabumon. It will die. Swing at the first Kumamon and the second Kumamon survives, so that's going to be game 1 for me. Moving into game 2, Gabe's going to decide to make me go first. So with the way game 1 played out, I wasn't actually confident for game 2 because that Hammer Spark was a clutch call in my security. So I'm going to start things off with Digimon in my raising, then I'm going to play the Davis, putting him to 4. I do add the Machinedramon in my hand, which is actually not a bad start. He's going to go ahead and drop a Metal Greymon on the board, putting me back to 3 anyway. I promote with Strabi, I'm going to swing into security. It does die since it's only 2k. Then looking at my hand, it's not that great again, so I'm going to drop another Davis. I do add the Gabumon since that's the only card I can add to hand, bottom decking the other 2 Tamers. Gabe's going to go ahead and Digivolve his Veemon in his raising. Then passes me turn by playing the Hagurumon, discarding the Megadramon to go ahead and draw 2. I draw, hatch, and I Digivolve the EX01 in my raising. Again, it's a little bit awkward on my end. I will go ahead and promote a Davis into a Kumamon, that way I can start cycling. So I'm still feeling pretty awkward during that turn, but I will go ahead and Digivolve into a Korikakumon for 1, stunning the Metal Greymon. Will swing into security and hit the Analog Youth. He does reveal the top 3 and adds the Antibody Omegamon, or Omnimon, I'm sorry. Then I'm going to go ahead and pass him by playing the mat on the board, passing him to 3. He will promote his Veemon, he will swing and draw for jamming again. He does swing into a Howling Memory Boost, so that's going to be good for my turn because I'm going to be able to have memory advantage. He will play the Ultimate Connection, going to go ahead and gain an extra memory and draw a card. So that's basically free for him. And then he's going to go ahead and Digivolve his Metal Greymon over with a Chaoshamon, putting himself to 0. He will get the Megadramon and put it underneath as a source. Then he's going to be able to delete my Korikakumon since it's only 6k. Still being at 1 actually. Then decides to put me at 5 by Digivolving his Chaoshamon into the Omnimon X Antibody. Now I'm going to go ahead and promote gain the additional memory, which I'm going to be with 6, and I do get the additional card. However, I'm actually in an awkward position right now. Bond is not going to help me just because this is not the right Gabumon. I needed the BT6 instead of the EX01, but unfortunately I drew it too late. And I know that he has a blocker on the board, which is the Omnimon, so I needed to bait that out first in order to go ahead and control tempo if I am going to go for the bond play. So what I am going to do here is promote my Davis into the Gurumon, and then thinking if I still have better plays to do, I'm actually going to Digivolve into the Beowulfmon for 1. Now, my tempo here was to go ahead and swing into the Veemon while bouncing the Hagurumon, and so it's going to be blocked by the Omnimon. So I baited out the block already. However, the Veemon is still a problem on the board, and I really didn't have any other play for this turn. So what I'm going to do is actually use the boost, go into Bond, trashing the top 2. Gonna go ahead and draw a card for that. I'm gonna be able to swing into his security twice, bottom decking the Veemon, that way he doesn't cycle it through his raising. I will trigger the inheritable EX01 Gabumon to go ahead and top 3 check. I will add a Tamer since it says Tamer, not a blue Tamer or matte in name. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the Tommy. Gonna trigger for, or swing for 1. Swing for 1 more, and I do swing into an Ultimate Connection. So I'm actually gonna be passing turn to him. And I'm stuck with 2 security left, and I don't have a way to play the tempo correctly just because I only have the mat on the board. He's gonna swing with his Omnimon. It will survive since it's 15k. Nothing can really actually stop that. Then to pass turn, he's gonna go ahead and actually drop the Hagurumon. Gonna go ahead and discard a level 5 or a Cyborg Machine to go ahead and draw 2. I do have the Gabumon in my raising again, however, there's nothing much I can really do here. He does have 3 swings next turn. Nothing can really save me unless I choke him to 1 and hope that there's a Hammer Spark, which in this case I don't think that's gonna happen because I do have another Hammer Spark in my hand. So I'm just really trying to think how I want to set this play up, and at this point I'm already thinking to myself the only way I can survive is praying that there's a Hammer Spark or an Ice Wall in my security. Then from there, if he actually does have the Ultimate Connection in hand, it doesn't matter at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to choke him at 1 by playing the Tommy, trashing all the sources underneath Omnimon. He's going to promote, and it looks like he does have the Ultimate Connection. And no way, I take that back. He actually does play the Ice Wall for security measures, but it doesn't matter because he does swing in for game. It doesn't hit into a Hammer Spark, and so we're going to game 3. So I decided to let Gabe go first, and because he plays Machinedramon, he needs to high roll. And unfortunately, he whips the rookie. He will drop the Andromon, so he's going to put me to 7. I Digivolve in my raising with the Gabumon EX01. Then I'm going to go ahead and drop the Tommy. Unfortunately, there's nothing to strip, but I will Digivolve into a Korikakumon to go ahead and stun the Andromon. Then I'm going to put him to 2 by playing the Davis. I do add the Kumamon. Now he's going to go ahead and drop the Analog Youth. He will pick up the Veemon. Digivolves it in his raising, and then decides to go ahead and Digivolve over the Andromon with the Machinedramon. I will promote my EX01 Gabumon, and I do have the Absolute Blast again. So putting him to 3 this turn doesn't actually hurt me that much. He does have the Veemon in raising, which is a small threat, but it is manageable. So I will go ahead and play the Absolute Blast. Gonna go ahead and bottom deck his Machinedramon by trashing the Andromon. Then he's gonna go ahead and promote. He will draw off jamming with Veemon. Does swing into a Gabumon, but it doesn't matter since jamming exists. And then he does play the Greymon. And I was just wondering why was I only put back to 3. Then I forgot that Metal Greymon gives 2 additional memory when he does have a team on the board. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off again. I do put the BT6 Gabumon in my raising. And then I was about to play the Tommy. Then I thought to myself, I do have the Kumamon in my hand, so I'm going to Digivolve the EXO1 into Kumamon. Gonna go ahead and trash the source underneath Veemon. Then I'm just going to swing over it, triggering its effects. I'm going to go ahead and top 3 check. Gonna add the mat to hand. And then I'm going to go ahead and stun the Metal Greymon and swing into his security. However, I hit an ultimate connection again, so he's going to go ahead and start off at 1. He Digivolves his Metal Greymon into the Chaosdramon, being able to add a source underneath it. Gonna go ahead and pop both my Digimon since they're both 6k or less. I decided to leave my Gabumon in my raising this turn. Gonna go ahead and play the Howling Memory Boost to trash the bottom 2 so I can stun it. Then I do play the mat, so I'm ready to go into Bond next turn. And so he does have the Chaosdramon on board, so what he's gonna be able to do is Digivolve over it into the Omnimon X antibody. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the Veemon in hand, so he won't be able to cycle in his raising. I do promote my Gabumon, gonna go ahead and gain 1 and draw 1. And so I was flushing through my hand and I realized I had so many sparks and I do have the ice wall in my hand as well. So security is actually not going to be this strong this game. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Tommy to go and trash the sources underneath Omnimon. Then I'm going to go ahead and play the spark, putting myself back to 2. I was thinking of Digivolving over my Tommy, but it wasn't worth it for this time because I'm not going to be able to stun the Omnimon. So what I will actually do is grab the Kumamon, gonna go ahead and throw it over my Gabumon again, which is perfectly fine. I'm not gonna go into a bond play this turn. Then I'm gonna go ahead and swing, gonna be able to draw off the Upamon, and it will die unfortunately, but which is expected just because it's only 4k. And so the reason why I Digivolved into the Kumamon was so I can hope to draw into the Korikakumon, which I didn't, so I'm just gonna go ahead and play the Soranjo, putting him at 4, which is perfectly fine. He does swing with his Omnimon, does hit into another Howling Memory Boost. I noticed he doesn't have a Veemon in his raising yet, so this is actually going to be good for my turn because he's losing tempo. He's thinking what he wanted to go ahead and do actually, but I guess the play that he's going to be able to do is play the Analog Youth. Gonna top 3 check, does land a Veemon off of it, so I spoke too soon there and he Digivolves it in his raising. Then he's going to go ahead and Digivolve the Omnimon with another Omnimon because he's able to do so, putting me to 3 again. Now I'm going to go ahead and Digivolve in my raising with the Gabumon from BT6. I'm going to Digivolve my Tommy over with the Kanagaroomon. Then I do have another Spark. I'm going to go ahead and play that. Then Digivolve over with the Beowulfmon for 1 cost. Then I'm going to go ahead and swing with Beowulfmon. I'm going to go ahead and tap Soranjo to trash the bottom source underneath Omnimon. Going to go ahead and add Kanagaroomon by missing a target and also stunning it with Tommy's effect. I do hit into an Analog Youth, which is perfectly fine. The Omnimon's not going to be able to attack next turn, so I think I'm safe. So what I'm actually going to do from here is pop a Memory Boost. Going to go ahead and play a Tommy just so I can prep up for hybrids next turn. He promotes his Veemon, going to go and swing, and it does survive because jamming. And I don't think there's much he can really do unless he plays the Ice Wall in hand, if he has it. From the looks of it, it doesn't look like he has it actually. He only has the Ultimate Connection. And from here, he does play the Hagurumon, going to go ahead and pass turn. Ditching that Digimon to go ahead and draw 2. I'm going to go ahead and draw and promote, gain 1, draw 1 off the mat. Going to go ahead and play Spark, play another Spark, then going to go ahead and use my Howling Memory Boost to put me at a 10. Going to go for the Gabumon play, and this is going to be game if nothing stops me in security. So I will go ahead and swing, bottom deck is Veemon, going to restand, swing again, and then restand once more, and that's your GG. Thanks for the games, Gabe. That was a really fun, close match actually too. Just checking out our hand. I did have 4 Hammer Sparks that game, so that was actually pretty interesting. So right after this, we're gonna go ahead and check out the deck profiles. So when we get into that, you guys can pause, take a look at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So yep, over here really quick, I did forget to put my eggs, but it's 4 Upamons and 1 Kiaramon. And then this is Gabe's deck. So yeah, thanks guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Lobomon for Games signing out. Peace.